involvement in manipulating individuals through mind control programs like MKUltra, with some speculating these tactics are being used to fuel crimes and deepen societal divisions. Historical programs like MKUltra and Operation Paperclip have long been shrouded in controversy, and now some believe these practices may continue under different guises. A recent incident in Charlotte, where an individual attacked a woman identified as an immigrant, has sparked further speculation. Some argue this event is part of a larger pattern of exploitation, where vulnerable individuals are used as pawns in furthering political agendas. As these claims surface, questions arise about the extent of government influence and control in such cases. With video evidence and patterns emerging across different incidents, the public is left wondering if there's more to these events than meets the eye. A complex web of politics and potential government manipulation is unfolding, with some pointing to a calculated strategy to influence public opinion and push specific agendas. The recent surge in spotlighting crimes committed by immigrants, particularly in the context of the ongoing immigration debate, has led some to believe that these incidents are being used to further a narrative of stricter border control and heightened security measures. This narrative appears to be intertwined with political tensions, especially in cities like San Francisco, Chicago, and other areas where there's a notable divide. Some argue that by emphasizing certain crimes and manipulating public perception, there's an effort to create a sense of urgency and fear, which can be leveraged to justify increased military or law enforcement presence in specific neighborhoods and communities. Furthermore, the targeting of African Americans in some of these incidents has sparked speculation about a potential shift in focus, where different groups are being used as pawns in a larger political game.
You can kind of put anyone in jail if you know what to do. How? You create the situation to where they have no choice but to act on their impulse. And once they act on that impulse, then we call that entrapment. We call it a nudge. A nudge. A nudge. Sometimes you just gotta give them a quick look, just to see what happens, right?
And how does that happen?
You put a post out there, or you have someone fake profile say something that triggers, that we know is going to trigger them, right? Like, we already know your history. If we're to that point, we already know everything about it. So we're like, oh, this is system. Sometimes you light the fuse and just wait for it to follow. That's when we're putting on fake social media things so that really get people mad. Well, it's fake news. Sometimes it's fake. It's establishable.
So you said something in your body did what? So you said something in your body.
The material,
what?
feel like the material used my body. The material, feel like the material used my body to stab her.
And so she just got stabbed. And so she just got
No, that's not me. I'm just for no reason. No, that's how they did that. Since they did that, now they got to investigate the material my body is supposed to. But since they did that, now they got to investigate the material my body is supposed to. Since they want to do all that, now they got to investigate.
from Russia. And you know, they had a war going on against the United States. So I'm sure they had a war going on against the United States.
I don't have nothing. They just lashed out on her. I don't have nothing. They just lashed out on her. That's just what happened. So what's working with the material? Whoever was working with the material was working out.
It was the most secret program ever conducted by the CIA in the United States. Patients at psychiatric hospitals, prisoners in federal institutions, and even people in the public were given drugs without their awareness or consent and experimented upon.
What if the most terrifying science fiction stories weren't fiction at all? What if the real monsters were hidden behind government seals, buried in redacted files, and locked away in vaults marked top secret? Tonight, we peel back the layers of deception to reveal the darkest, most chilling secrets ever declassified by the CIA. These aren't just stories. They're documented operations, experiments, and conspiracies that sound too twisted to be true. But they are.
The CIA was scared stiff the KGB was going to get all this LSD and come over and start dosing people. So we bought every drop of LSD in existence at that point.
Operation Midnight Climax, the CIA's LSD brothels. In the heart of San Francisco and New York during the 1950s and 60s, the CIA operated a series of safe houses under the innocuous-sounding Operation Midnight Climax. But behind these doors, a sinister experiment unfolded. Sex workers on the CIA's payroll lured unsuspecting men into these locations, where they were secretly dosed with LSD. Behind one-way mirrors, CIA operatives observed and recorded their reactions, aiming to study the effects of the drug and explore mind control techniques. The goal? To determine if individuals could be manipulated into revealing secrets or even committing acts against their will. These experiments violated ethical standards and the rights of countless individuals, many of whom never knew they were part of a clandestine operation. But what happened next shocked everyone. Project MK Ultra, the quest for mind control. Project MK Ultra was the CIA's most infamous mind control program, initiated in the early 1950s. Under the direction of chemist Sidney Gottlieb, the agency conducted a series of experiments involving LSD, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, and other methods on unwitting subjects. Victims included prisoners, mental patients, and even CIA employees. One tragic case involved Dr. Frank Olson, a government scientist who was unknowingly dosed with LSD and later died under mysterious circumstances. The official story claimed suicide, but many believe he was silenced to prevent the truth from emerging. The program's unethical practices eventually came to light in the 1970s, leading to public outrage and congressional hearings. Yet many details remain shrouded in secrecy, leaving us to wonder, how deep did the rabbit hole go? Project Artichoke. Can you create an assassin? Before MK Ultra, there was Project Artichoke. Launched in 1951, this CIA initiative aimed to determine whether individuals could be compelled to commit assassinations against their will. Using hypnosis, forced addiction, and psychological manipulation, the agency explored the boundaries of human control. One chilling question posed in a declassified memo: can we get control of an individual to the point where he will do our bidding against his will and even against fundamental laws of nature, such as self-preservation? The implications are terrifying. If successful, this program could have created real-life Manchurian candidates, individuals programmed to kill without memory or remorse. Project Stargate, psychic spies, and remote viewing. In the 1970s, the CIA ventured into the paranormal with Project Stargate, a program exploring the potential of psychic phenomena for intelligence gathering. The focus was on remote viewing, the ability to perceive distant or unseen targets through extrasensory perception. Notably, Israeli
I can disrupt an individual from the level of their cell to their system, and disrupt individuals on a variety of levels, from individuals all the way up to the social fabric. Target a specific individual, change or eliminate that individual with very little attribution and trace, and be able to leave prior to any attribution.
Who here actually feels like they are under surveillance pretty regularly? Everyone inside of Occupy. How many people here have been arrested and have at their court date, they have their phone taken into the back room? How many people here had their retina scanned? Wow.
If you're targeting demonstrators, you make them suicidally depressed. And they don't care about demonstrating anymore because they're too upset. With one pulse frequency, you can just make people so suicidal, they can't be bothered to act like a demonstrator anymore. All they want to do is sleep or lay in bed all day.
There's an infrastructure in place in the United States and worldwide that NSA has built in cooperation with other governments as well that intercepts basically every digital communication, every radio communication, every analog communication that it has sensors in place to detect.
If they can't get it through the internet, through the tapping of the lines or anything like that, through a commercial means, and they're unsure about you, they can get it by close access means, coming in and actually bugging your house or bugging your, or putting monitors in your system, in your house or on your computer. They can use your computer video to look back at you, or they can monitor within a certain distance the keystrokes you're making on your computer or what you're putting on your computer screen. And if that's not enough, they can come in through the firewall you think you have but don't, and go through your operating system that you think protects you but doesn't, and read your encrypted email that you thought was secure but isn't. Or they can simply wait for you to do decrypts if you've done that, and pull them off and use your unused CPU while you're on the computer to drain it. It's called active attack.
We are in a new Cold War, and this is why countries are developing this. I mean, really developing this. And this is why all of the microwave transmitters are going up everywhere. Because somebody, if they wanted to, could use them for other effects. The system is up and running.
The MIT was awarded a number of years ago to Woody Norris. This is 2005 or 2006. And that award was $500,000 for doing what's called acoustic heterodyning, being able to send a signal from 2 points into an individual so they literally hear a voice in their head that nobody around them hears.
I mean, voices are the easiest ones, because all you have to do is stimulate the cochlea with a set resonant frequency. It's very easy. Voices are very easy. And it isn't people imagining voices, they physically hear them. You can physically make people hear voices, certain voices. And it can be any conversation. And it can be anybody you want to hear. It can be a soft, angelic voice. It can be a god. It could be something that scares you like a devil. It could be anything.
DARPA let a couple of contracts back in 2011, 2012, the University of California, for what's called electronic telepathy, being able to monitor the brain activity of human beings at a distance and determine what they're thinking. And then on a second contract, actually developing complex signals, being able to send them into the brain of another person, literally transmit a message. This is where the technology is today.
After 9/11 and the birth of Homeland Security, fusion centers were set up to monitor U.S. citizens, and the U.S. Department of Justice legalized non-consensual experiments on the public. These fusion centers employ civilians to target individuals and harass them, intimidate them, vandalize their property, and interfere with their day-to-day life. This is known as gang stalking. Former high-ranking FBI agent Ted Gunderson reported in 2011 that himself and thousands of others were being targeted. FBI agent Mike German confirmed this as well. Several federal agents have reported that they were targeting individual Americans, including people who were simply pro-life, and that they were pressured to put more people on their targeting lists to legitimize more federal funding. These Homeland Security fusion centers are able to put any American citizen on the terrorist watch list without any reason or due process. In 2012, NSA whistleblower William Binney reported that the feds are conducting comprehensive surveillance on nearly every U.S. citizen and targeting whomever they please. In 2014, Glenn Greenwald exposed the methods used to target individuals, such as hacking into people's social media accounts, posing as that person, and contacting their friends and coworkers. TargetedJustice.com is currently working on suing the federal government for targeting individual U.S. citizens with different high-tech weapons, including directed energy weapons. The Havana Syndrome, when diplomats in Cuba were attacked with directed energy weapons, was not an isolated event. There are thousands of individuals who claim to be under this same sort of attack, and they have the scars to prove it. As far back as 1976, the technology to remotely alter brainwaves has existed, including voice-to-skull technology that allows the government to directly transmit voices into people's brains. As bad as all this is, it is likely to get much worse. In 2017, Dr. James Giordano gave a lecture on the latest government technologies to target individuals, such as neuroweapons to control brain function and modify memories.
I'm looking to target key individuals who may then be influential to relative aspects of their representative groups. I can affect individuals' brain functions in a variety of different ways, both positively and negatively, by engaging or disengaging nodes and networks of the brain that therefore affect their cognitions, emotions, and ultimately their behaviors. Something my colleague Jamie Canton likes to play with an awful lot is the idea of specialized neural operations. And here, once again, we're talking about the use of either drugs and or devices to modify the integrity of brain function that we realize can also modify individuals' perception of time and space. We talked earlier about how these may be used in interrogation scenarios, and this too may be used against key individuals to be able to modify their perception of time, their perception of what occurred and what did not, memory modification, etc.
Nanoparticulates that can give an individual a stroke.
So what we're able to do here is infiltrate the brain space with nanoparticulate matter that aggregates on site in the brain, and does one of two things: either penetrates from the vascular space, gets in through the bloodstream, gets in through the nose, through the mucosa, or infiltrates the vascular space and clogs it. What is the result? What's called a nanoparticulate stroke, or a hemorrhagic diathesis, fancy word, for it's a predisposition to individuals having brain bleeds.
He explains how they can make people sick with an undetectable illness to make them go crazy.
What I'm doing is I'm using a dispersion methodology to be able to infect sentinel cases with a highly morbid condition. These individuals complain. Again, this is a central nervous system condition, so they're complaining of whatever the bug may do. It'll produce some cascade of neurological and neuropsychiatric signs and symptoms. What I've now done is I've got every individual who is diagnostically hypochondriacal, and I've got every individual who's the worried well flooding the public health system, banging on the door. The CDC comes back and says, nonsense, that's not real. CDC comes back and says, nonsense, that's not real. I come back and say, that's fake news.
We are learning new details tonight about suspected directed energy microwave attacks targeting CIA officers and top national security officials. We first started hearing about them, and we told you about them here on Special Report in 2016, shortly after then President Obama opened the embassy in Havana, Cuba. National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon has the latest tonight about a suspected attack here at home.
U.S. officials say there are now 130 suspected victims, mostly CIA operatives and U.S. diplomats being treated for brain injuries, debilitating headaches, and vertigo, the targets they believe of a directed energy microwave weapon.
There's a mysterious direct energy weapon that is being used, and it is causing, in some cases, permanent traumatic brain injury.
New indications suggest the incidents go as far back as 1996. Two individuals working on the NSC believe they were targeted in 2019 and in 2020, just after the election. One was near the White House and one was walking her dog. The Russians have been working on mobile microwave weapons for years.
We have to get more information, and we got to tell the public what's going on.
The U.S. Air Force and tech firm Epirus have developed a mobile high-energy microwave weapon to bring down drones. Epirus is also working on a miniature variant of the weapon that can be easily transported on a pickup truck. This is the type of technology that might be targeting American diplomats.
The CIA is now taking the issue seriously, but without the actual weapon, U.S. officials don't know who to blame and how to stop these alleged attacks.
At the county energy level and above. The equipment can monitor your thinking and send voices to your mind and talk to you in your head. That's what they said.
Wang says the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, currently uses the technology to control tens of thousands of people. He says he's also spoken with other victims who described suffering the same round-the-clock noise in their minds. Some of them reportedly couldn't bear it and are believed to have committed suicide, but more and more victims have started to speak out. The CCP hasn't hidden its intention to weaponize mind control. Regime media mouthpiece Xinhua reprinted an article earlier last year speaking highly of the technology's military and wartime value. The article says the purpose of mind control weapons is not the destruction of an enemy's flesh, but of his will. It also says the new technology doesn't require a chip implanted in the human brain. Instead, electromagnetic waves, light, sound waves, smells, among other things, can be used. Reporting by Xu Wanhui, NTD News.
The possible involvement of technologies like MK Ultra adds another layer of complexity, with some suggesting that these could be used to manipulate individuals into committing crimes or behaving in certain ways. The government's alleged use of various tactics to shape public perception and behavior has been a topic of discussion, with some pointing to evidence that suggests a level of involvement in media and entertainment. According to FBI files and congressional testimony, there is evidence to suggest that the government has utilized media, including Hollywood and news outlets, to influence public opinion. This admission underscores the complex relationship between government, agencies, and the media, highlighting the potential for influence and manipulation. By examining these dynamics and the evidence that supports them, we can gain a deeper understanding of the mechanisms at play. There have been numerous cases and stories that highlight the complex relationship between government agencies, media, and the public.
Hi, my name's Rochelle. I'm a victim of technological human trafficking. I haven't made a video for a while, and I've come back. YouTube shut my channel down, and I've come back to expose it. What the perps have now done is they've started destroying my skin with the EMF broadcast. They've done this before, but they're creating the impression that it can't heal. They like to manipulate. It's almost like they're not only manipulating skin, but they destroy your teeth as well. They do a lot. And the perps are at it again. As soon as I entered, they started the directed conversation. Almost like the R&M was giving them feedback about how I was feeling. The perps that are only by choice get access to everything that you're feeling and thinking. I know it sounds crazy. I'm still getting used to myself. And the worst part is that they want you to feel as though it's your problem. It's something about you. No one should have access to your mind, no matter who they are. That in itself proves that they think that they can push this. Some sort of superiority complex. Because it's demonic in itself to act like you've got that right over any human being. And I didn't let that stop me. I continued. I stayed. I did my workout. And then as I was leaving, I got another perp trying the classical conditioning to make me know that I shouldn't return. It's almost like they're engaging in social engineering to discourage any TI that's been a victim of human trafficking to keep going, to keep achieving. And the R&M perps that are stalking me, the ones that live as a broadcast, they constantly attack me with EMF. And
I'm a patient person. Got a good listening ear and try to help people.
You're patient with a good ear. You try to help people.
Yes.
When you're not trying to murder them.
Yes.
When Callenger's reign of terror ended, 3 were dead, including his 14-year-old son.
You murdered your own son?
Yes, I did.
Why did you do that?
He was a sacrifice. I was to murder 3 million people on the planet Earth. And he was sacrificed to see if I could murder one of my own. At the end of murdering all the people on Earth, I was going to murder my own family and then take my own life and become God.
What do you think?
We discovered soon after I entered office that with the specter of an atomic
atomic war looming like Armageddon, far nearer than it does today, the United States government actually did carry out on our citizens experiments involving radiation. Thousands of government-sponsored experiments did take place at hospitals, universities, and military bases around our nation. In one experiment, scientists injected plutonium into 18 patients without their knowledge. Informed consent means your doctor tells you the risk of the treatment you are about to undergo. In too many cases, informed consent was withheld. Americans were kept in the dark about the effects of what was being done to them. The deception extended beyond the test subjects themselves to encompass their families and the American people as a whole. For these experiments were kept secret, and they were shrouded not for a compelling reason of national security, but for the simple fear of embarrassment, and that was wrong. Informed consent, community right to know, our entire battery of essential human protections, all these grew up in response to the health and humanitarian crises of this 20th century. They are proof that we are equal to our challenges. Science is not ever simply objective. It emerges from the crucible of historical circumstances and personal experience. Let us remember, too, that cynicism about government has roots in historical circumstances. Because of stonewallings and evasions in the past, times when a family member or a neighbor suffered an injustice and had nowhere to turn and couldn't even get the facts, some Americans lost faith in the promise of our democracy. Government was very powerful, but very far away and not trusted to be ethical. The United States of America offers a sincere apology to those of our citizens who were subjected to these experiments, to their families, and to their communities.
United States of America.
Okay, the death penalty.
I'm opposed to it.
The state has no right to take your life, but you can murder other people.
I don't think anyone has the right to take life.
Except you.
When I'm under hallucination, I do.
These voices from God, these hallucinations, do you still experience them?
Yes, I do.
Often?
Often.
Do you ever feel violent?
Yes, I do.
What do you feel like doing?
Killing people.
You still feel like killing people?
Yes.
Describe the feeling that you get when you feel like killing people.
Well, last March 11th, I was hallucinating, and I took a razor blade and I cut a man's throat.
Here in the hospital?
Here in the hospital.
Do you think you'd murder me, Joe?
Yes.
That's gruesome, Joe. That's horrible.
Yes, it is.
And you don't blame me if I say I hope you never get out of this place.
I hope I never do either.
I'm really God. I'm not lying.
Throughout the hour-long sit-down with Manuel Vela, statements about a mission from the devil and Christ to kill Katrina Rivera were harrowing.
She knew the mission at hand, and she said she understands. She said, I'm going to die in 2016. Her grandma knew. Everybody was telling him and warning him everything. He said, you're going to die by his hands if you don't get away from him.
Vela says he knew about the mission since 2009 when he and Rivera first got into a relationship.
I tried to let her loose then. I said, I don't want nothing to do with you. I'm going to kill you. I'm crazy.
Vela continually said he was schizophrenic, started working with the devil in 2012. From then on, had one purpose in life.
If you knew you weren't supposed to be with her, why did you stay with her?
Oh, to kill her.
So that was your only purpose this whole time?
Yes. Kill her.
And you made it pretty clear to her that that was your whole purpose as well?
Yeah. Told everybody. To defy every law of any God creation of a book. Now you understand? Yeah.
So did you think what you were doing was the right thing, or did you realize it was going to kill her?
Well, we quite, as a team, you know, from extraterrestrial to religion to science, understand the voyage of telepathy and somewhat of higher power vested in us as a team, me and Katrina Rivera. So, I understood, yes, that I was going to kill her. She understood that she had to die.
And she was okay with that?
Well, that's it. She accepted it, yes.
From the Pentagon's influence on examples that demonstrate the government's interest in shaping public opinion and perception. One notable case is the CIA's Operation Mockingbird, which aimed to influence media coverage and shape public opinion during the Cold War. More recently, there have been revelations about government agencies' involvement in shaping media narratives and using propaganda techniques to influence public opinion. These stories and cases can provide valuable insights into the mechanisms of influence and manipulation. Donald Trump and Gavin Newsom have a notable political disagreement, particularly on immigration policies. Trump has backed aggressive immigration raids in Southern California, which Newsom strongly opposes, calling it racial terror. Newsom has also mocked Trump's style on social media, using all-caps posts and wacky nicknames to criticize his policies. Their disagreements highlight the tension between the Trump administration's hardline immigration stance